kittens! Welcome back to another episode of Knitting's a Drag! I'm Alexis Hex, and today we're making balls of yarn ornaments! Ah, it must be the holidays! So balls of yarn ornaments are a lot of fun to make. They're really simple. You just take like a plastic ornament that's kind of clear, nothing to it. You wrap some yarn around it, but it's a lot of fun. I did this many years ago when I had first started knitting, and we actually used it to help decorate our little holiday tree at work. And this is a really fun project to do. It uses up some of the leftover yarns from your projects. They make really great gifts. You can give them to all your friends and family that you love. They're great for members of your Stitch and Bitch group. And let's get started. I'll show you how to do them right now. Alright, to get started on the ornaments, you're going to need a package of these ornaments. They don't have to be clear. They can be any color you want, but these work really well. You can get them at any craft store in like a box of 20. So you can make a ton of them as gifts or just to decorate your own tree. You'll also need a handy dandy hot glue gun. I mean, everyone has a hot glue gun, right? You better. What kind of crafter are you? Get your hot glue gun! Also a toothpick for helping kind of attach the yarn in places and use that hot glue so you don't burn your fingers. Unless you like to live dangerously, then by all means, but don't say I didn't warn you. It's called a hot glue gun for a reason. Alright, first things first, you're gonna just wanna remove the little top of this so that we're working with just the plain little plastic sphere. I recommend plastic, you know, it doesn't break like glass, but you can again use whatever ones you find, but this might be the easiest way to go. And then we're gonna grab our yarn. We're gonna use a nice festive holiday green over here. And to start, we're gonna take a nice little dab with our glue gun. And then the yarn in there. We'll use our handy dandy toothpick and we're gonna tap that in. A little tappa tappa tappa. I would have killed for tappa tappa tappa. If anyone knows what that's from, we'll leave that in the comments below. It's one of my favorite lines. A little tappa tappa tappa. I would have killed for tappa tappa tappa. Yeah, we're just gonna get that so to anchor right here at the bottom of the orb. And it's hot glue, it kind of, you know, it adheres pretty quickly. Alright, so once you have it anchored in, we're going to start wrapping. And kind of keep it a little bit tight. And depending on the yarn, like this is an acrylic, some of the acrylics can be kind of slippery, so we might anchor it a couple times with some more squirts of glue. It's there, you might as well use it. Sometimes it likes to travel and slip around. You can see it's already sliding a little bit on us. So we're going to put a little extra in to secure in some places. Go here. A little up here. Early on, it's kind of easy to do it wherever you need to, because it'll be covered up. Just make sure that as you're going, you get those spots covered, because you don't want, you know, hardened glue to be showing up on the outside of your ornament once it's all finished. But usually it's not a problem. And then once you have more yarn on it anyway, you won't really need to be anchoring it anymore. I'm going to do another little smudge at the bottom as well, because we're going to change the directions here. Is I'm gonna take our toothpick again and give it you guessed it, tappa tappa tappa. There we go. That nice and into the fibers. And then we're gonna kind of go on this way. This will get another side wrap. And what's nice about this, you know, doing this kind of a craft is you can use up some of like your leftover yarn from other projects. Like if you know, finished doing the first scarf from the very first video, you should probably have some leftover yarn, so you can use that, and kind of also, it makes the ornaments like a reminder of some of your projects of, you know, that you've worked on before, which is always nice. Kind of like a little gallery of like, oh, I remember when I used this yarn and I made this with that. That's always a nice little added bonus for doing a project like this. Right, we're gonna, this one is really trying to, a little slippery, so we're gonna add another little dab, All right, dabbed. And then we're going to tap. There we go, just tap that in there. Get some good coverage on this now. Alright, so now it's going to switch again. Now we're going to switch directions, so we'll do again a little anchor spot. Mush that in there. And then, of course, if you like, we can do a little tappa. Then we can start switching and doing like the horizontal axis here. And that'll also really help any sliding from the yarn, because then you're really holding it down from a different direction. So yeah, so the longer you do this and the more yarn you get onto the ornament, the less sliding you'll get, because then it's gripping onto the other yarn and not a smooth ass plastic round ball, you know. Once you get a little grip, it's always nicer. Yeah, the nice thing is, once you get a little grip, you don't need to make as much anchoring, but then there's less tappa. Alright, now we can switch sides here, but again, now we don't really need to anchor, so I'm going to just start going. I can keep wrapping. And there we go. Yeah, at this point you kind of just keep going and you keep wrapping. And then you start to kind of see where the gaps are, and that's where you want to try to start strategically twisting and doing it around the gaps. So let me see, like, the next one you can kind of see there's a gap here. So I want to try to angle it so that when I'm coming around, these two gaps are going to start getting hit a little bit. Those gaps nice and closed. Alright, we got a little gap here, so we're gonna use this as a good turning place. try to cross over where you wouldn't have anchored, just to kind of hold those things in place, because they start to slide sometimes. Then you get a little bit on there and it's not going anywhere. It's locked in. Again, there, they were closing in as well. Whoop, there we go. Alright, and then, ooh, you can see here we have a nice big old gap. So we're gonna start filling that in. Also nice once you start, once you get to this spot, it's like, oh yes. It's just like actually rolling, yarn into a ball, what you may have had to do with a skein or two, and it becomes kind of just zen. You just wrap and wrap and wrap. And at this point, you just kind of want to make sure, you're kind of keeping it an even, rounding it out a little bit, because sometimes you'll get a little bit wonky on one side, but there's really no rules. It doesn't actually matter how circular, as long as you're happy with it. That's all that matters. And, it's kind of nice when it doesn't, there aren't any stringent rules on how it should end up looking. We're going to do a little bit going this way, just to kind of balance out the looks of the yarn. Oh, and as I'm sticking, we have another little gap here. So we're going to go this way, and then I'm going to turn. And then we'll do a little wrapping in this direction to get that spot. Alright, and I think, taking a gander, it's all pretty covered. You don't see any open spots of the clear plastic anymore. So once we're here, we're going to bring it up to the top. And then we're going to trim that yarn down. Then we're going to take the glue gun and kind of go inside and put a little right there on the wall, as you can see. Perfect. Then tuck this into there. They're all nice and down. Then we'll take our handy dandy toothpick again and, oh, you guessed it, it was coming. Our very last tappa tappa tappa. Get it all in there. Just, get the fibers all mixed so it kind of anchors it inside here. Thought I forgot about the tappa tappa tappa, didn't you? But no, there was one more tappa tappa left for us. There we go. And then you take this topper, squeeze it back in, and then just reaffix it on top. Make sure all the little parts go on the outside. And there we are. One finished ball of yarn ornament. So yeah, so as you can see, that's how it looks with green. Here's red, here's that sparkly white that we used from the crocheted snowflakes. And you can even do it, something that's not so holiday looking, you can use leftovers from our Say Something hat. They all add a whole different look, and they will all look beautiful hanging on your tree or someone else's tree. So there you have it. That's everything you need to make your own ball of yarn ornaments. Now, I would love to see your finished projects. If you make them, hang them all over your tree. You can reach me on all social media. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Send me those pictures. Tweet them to me. I want to see them. Send me the photos. And, follow all the links below to find my social media. And until next time, stay hexy. Bye.